All right, welcome listeners to the World of Dragons podcast. I am Ray. No fancy titles today because the dragons in this thing didn't have fancy titles.
I am Dilatan, the Plague Dragon. I shall always have a fancy title.
Until you get over the sickness, I guess.
That's never going to happen. It's been going on for like over a month.
Longer than that. I think you started getting sick in November, didn't you?
No, December 20th is when it happened.
Well, either way, stop being sick.
I'll try.
And I am Bantam, the half-breed abomination.
Shit, how do openings go? We usually have like so much banter at the beginning. I'm like, all right, get on topic, guys. We already got the banter out of the way, so it's like, how do we actually do this without banter?
Today, we will be reviewing Angels with Scaly Wings.
There we go. That's how we do it without banter.
That's how you do an intro.
So Angel with Scaly Wings, it is a Steam game, visual novel. I don't know if I'd go so far as to call it a dating sim, because there's barely any dating in it.
Yeah, okay, so real quick, because this game was pitched to me as, for Valentine's Day, we could do a dating sim with dragons.
You're the one that pitched it, though.
I am?
Yes.
I don't remember this.
You pitched it to me.
Okay, then you put...
And then I tried to work the schedule to get it to fall on the episode closest to Valentine's Day.
You literally mind-controlled me into doing it then. I don't remember that at all.
But first, the news with Dilatan.
Oh, we're just beginning now? Hell yeah. Okay, so I've got a couple of stories for you guys. One, I did actually try out the Half-Life Year of the Dragon demo. It needs some work, but I absolutely love the concept, and I know you two probably didn't play it. One problem that I've noticed is when the only level that was available was the Office Complex, the third chapter in Half-Life. And the problem is, Spyro is too small to reach some of the buttons in the freezer. You have to jump and hit the use key. Unfortunately, doing that activates your slam move. So you'll be slamming the ground more often than you'll actually be activating the buttons.
That's okay. You don't know how much time I've spent slamming the ground in the normal Spyro games anyway.
I mean, wasn't that like how you played the game? You just sprint and then slam, sprint, slam, sprint, slam.
That's all the gameplay.
Oh, that doesn't work with
Spyro's skull must be a foot thick.
That does not work with Half-Life's enemies. Head crabs will come at you out of fucking nowhere. Spark regeneration is very rare. There's only two ways you can get it: is medical kits and smashing vending machines. And those were not
sheep.
What?
I said rest in peace, sheep.
It sounds like what they needed to do was, I mean, if they put this much effort into this mod, then they very clearly could have gone into the map editor and just moved all the buttons down.
No, but then you got to put the triggers down.
Yeah, it's right now they're trying to redesign the Half-Life maps. It's not actually the source engine; it's in Zash 3D, which runs Quake. There actually is a hidden Quake level you can activate with a console and start running around and running into zombie dogs and strongified soldiers. I thought that was pretty cool.
Strongified soldiers?
Strog.
Strog. I never played Quake, so I might be getting that wrong.
The strogification process is one of the most traumatizing things that a gamer can go through in their young life.
But yeah, they've been working on Year of the Dragon for about 4 years now. They've released 3 demos of Office Complex, and this one looks the best. I'm actually very excited for it. Another part of the news we've got here is that Dragonheart 6 has been confirmed pre-production. We don't know anything about it other than the fact that it is going to be another prequel.
We don't have a title or a main character?
Not yet, but it is being confirmed.
I guess another piece of news would just, I don't know. Honestly, I don't feel like we have our claws deep enough into the news sources to actually give meaningful news. But I guess something that I could bring up is the Kickstarter for Dragon Island launched. It's already funded. It goes until the end of February, I think. And what it is, it's another dating sim with dragons, but they're not quadrupedal feral dragons.
They're all anthro dragons that have been mixed with something else. So there's
a goat dragon that's literally Azrael. It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, the main character, the character that you play as, is a half shark, half dragon. And
Tiger shark, yeah.
Yeah, and on the boat, the characters, because I already played the demo, the characters that you're introduced to, one is basically a very small, fuzzy white dragon with big wings, he's not really a mix of anything, I guess, aside from maybe
No,
a house
they
cat.
called him a winged dragon on the
Yeah.
Kickstarter.
There's also a big fat Eastern dragon. There's a what looks like a dinosaur dragon, because he's got the big jaw plates like something from Monster Hunter. Um, there's there's a lot of different dragon types, and from what it looks like, and it's not really a spoiler because it happens in the first 5 minutes of the demo. It looks like you're going to be the new lifeguard for an island where dragons get to go to vacation, and your ship crashes, and you wash up on a small island that isn't the island you were headed for, and there's an abandoned mansion with security cameras everywhere, and that's as far as I got.
So the game will be released on Steam. You can go wishlist it now. It does have a Steam page up. It will have a safe work and a not safe for work version. And if you go, even though it's already been funded, there are still limited slots. As of recording, there are a couple limited slots left to have you put in the game on like their version of
Twitter
Tumblr or something. Something you can get a little icon and like a short little message that you can browse through on your phone in game.
When he's because I guess you have access to your phone and you can go on social media and you can have your character portrait and a little blurb as for some of the stuff that he scrolls through.
Yeah, there was an NPC slot which is already gone, and there were a couple slots for like previous text messages on your phone history that are already gone. But I think there's still some of basically the Twitter feed slots left.
Kind of disappoints me. There's no dateable character option for slots.
Well, that feels like it's a bit too intricate to let somebody else put their hands on it, I guess.
Yeah.
It probably all plays into the story that the guy has planned.
Yeah. But yeah, by the time that game fully releases, maybe it'll be next year and we can do it for next Valentine's.
Next Valentine's, this time with actual dragon
Actual
dicks.
dating.
Actual dating? I said actual dicks.
Oh. Instead of a wine bottle.
And now the weather with Bantam.
It's gonna rain!
Thank you. And now,
It's cold.
sports.
It's cold and I fucking hate it.
I actually have a blanket right now. It's a little chilly.
Yeah,
it's kind of
it's-
surprising. I love the cold, but this is like a little too cold.
It hurts your face levels of cold. All right, so Angels with Scaly Wings.
Wait,
I guess I'm the
going to
one.
do a sports section.
No, I guess I was the one who suggested this, even though I literally do not recall. But I remember that I heard about the game because Ray had played it like 2 years ago, and he was just like, I remember there was a point in time where he was like, "You should play this game. You should play this game. Look at this guy. He's so sexy. He's the best dragon." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever," because it's just it. I have a really, really bad history with dating sim games. The very first dating sim I ever played, and the only one aside from this, was Hatoful Boyfriend. Because it was like the meme. Everyone was like, "Wow, this is hilarious. You're dating literal birds." Granted,
Have you dated literal tanks?
Huh?
Have you dated literal tanks yet?
I have not played the German World War II tank girl dating sim. No.
I'm sorry, what? Hold
Yeah,
on, let me look this up.
there's a dating sim on Steam where all the girls are World War II German tanks. Essentially, just picture an anime girl, but then like put a turret on her back and like some metal parts on her or whatever. But like some of the screenshots that they use on the Steam page are like, for comedic effects. She's like, "How do you like my anti-air gun, senpai?" Stuff like that. But I played Hatoful Boyfriend. It was the very first dating sim I ever played, and I went into it absolutely gung-ho, playing it like I would play how I would do dating sims in real life. Like, I was picking options that seemed like the best option for me personally. And halfway through the game, it teleported me back to my quote-unquote house, and it said that the Council of Hawks showed up, which I guess was like a frat or whatever, and they were the ones who arranged having a human come here and try to date these birds. And then they killed me and declared the experiment a failure because I didn't date anybody. And that was the first and last experience I had with dating sims, and I basically swore off them because I don't feel like dating sims should be down to a formula. Go here, say this option, go here, say this option, and that way you'll get
I feel like dating sims should be much more accessible into getting a particular character to fall for you, yeah.
Yes.
But I feel like there should be that formula. You should need a walkthrough to get the perfect ending. That
Okay,
I feel like
for
they
the
should.
perfect ending, sure. But to get
For an
literally
ending?
any
No.
ending, like
Yeah, that's a bit much.
it's been years. I don't remember his name. All I remember was that what was probably 3/4 the way through my playthrough on How to Fool Boyfriend, there was a bird that was riding around on a scooter, and he was like really colorful and stuff. And I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna date him." And I literally had just met him before I got murdered by the Hawk Council, and I was like, "Oh, all right.
I guess I can't.
I guess I can't." And knowing what I know now, I have to go far enough into someone else's storyline to keep the storyline going, then switch over to this guy. I didn't appreciate it. I don't appreciate a game going, "Hey, you didn't hit A B B A C D, and so therefore you lose. Goodbye. Start over." And it's like, why can't I talk like a normal, like have 3 or 4 options that are positive and a couple options that are negative?
Okay, here's the thing. You were about to say, why can't I talk like a normal person and still get the ending I want? My response to that is, well, if you could talk like a normal person, you wouldn't be playing dating sims. You'd already have a boyfriend.
I have a boyfriend. His name is Dilettante, and he's here.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
and
I got a couple burns I'm not going to say, but okay.
No. You say them.
No. Mostly because I don't know the best way to word them without like the meaning being lost, and I have to explain the burn, and then it just loses all
yeah.
fun. Yeah.
I'm not letting it go, by the way. You gotta tell me.
Something about you being just as pathetic as he is, so of course you both just hit the bottom of the barrel.
It's true.
Ouch.
It's okay, Bantam. I love you. Dilith and I tolerate your existence.
Thanks, I guess.
So before we get into, so we're obviously
Hold on, real fast. Was that too mean? Do I need to cut that?
Nah, I'll be fine.
Okay, as long as you two consent to that.
I'm fine. You know me. I have no emotional.
Okay, but what about the burn against people who play dating sims in general?
I mean,
Honestly, it makes sense.
all right. The thing is that
disclaimer: I love dating sims. I have like 20 of them saved on my computer. I'm gonna find the best ones and hand feed them to you, Bantam, so you can have more enjoyable experiences. Dilettante, I have a Minotaur one for you, by the way.
Minotaur Hotel?
Yeah.
I already know about that.
oh, I got a Minotaur one for you. Is it blah blah blah? Yeah. The only other dating sim I played, if you can even fucking call it that, is you know what? Never mind.
No, now I'm curious. If it's super embarrassing, I'll cut it. But I'm curious now.
It's not super embarrassing. It's just super pathetic. So there's a couple games on Steam that I played. One is called Dimension of Monster Girls, and
Oh no!
there's 3.
It's all coming back to me.
No, there's 3 monster girls that you can date. One is a Lamia, one is a Scylla, so octopus lower half. And the other one is, I think, plant. Yeah, she was a plant. And the lore behind this Dimension of Monster Girls was that a monster girl will bite you, and it's literally a toxin that will kill you unless you choose to be with her. If you reject her, then the toxin nullifies itself and the monster girl who bit you dies. And so a monster girl will only bite a human if she thinks that, you're a match. But you, the main character, get bitten by 3 different monster girls in the course of one day. And so your timeline is shortened because you've got a lot of fucking poison in you. And you have to make a choice. But it's not a choice.
Whoa.
Because what?
Whoa. You just called it poison instead of venom.
Venom.
You broke your own rule. Oh,
you
no.
have to.
Oh my god.
You have to commit seppuku now.
All right.
It's like the one thing you bitch about on everybody else.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't want to go too deep into it, but basically you get bitten by 3 monster girls. Their venom has shortened your time span because you got 3 girls in you.
Yeah.
But one of the girls has, and this is actually relevant to this episode, to Angels with Scaly Wings, because one of the girls is such a fucking kicked puppy. And I only learned that term from the discussion forum for this game. A kicked puppy is a character that is so sad and so pathetic that you feel like a monster for not choosing them. And that you have to basically, the writer is essentially shoving you violently in their direction. Pick this character or I'm going to punish you with all sorts of bad feelings, and it's like, basically, like, the idea being is that, like, what kind of horrible monster would kick a puppy? So it's like, do what I tell you, or I'm going to make you kick this puppy. And the Scylla basically has stated that she's the last of her entire line and her whole species will go extinct if you don't choose her. Whereas one of them's, the other one, the Lamia, is a princess and the plant girl just doesn't give a shit. And so it's like, come on. And that game was written really poorly because there were only one round of questions per girl. Then, depending on your answers, it automatically picked a girl for you instead of you getting to choose. And I swear to God, 90% of the choices just led to the Scylla. So it was like, I complained about it on the discussion forums and I got some hate. So I was like, yeah, fuck this game.
All right, so enough talking about other dating sims. Now what about this one?
Yeah.
It's not a dating sim.
Well, all right. So
there are dates in it.
There are dates in it.
It's just, I think there's only 2 of the characters that are, like, heavily implied you end up with. The other ones is, like, they could just end up being just friends rather than partners,
Yeah. So, yeah, there's 2 dragons that I know for certain have sex
100% U-bone. Yeah.
U-bone, 100%. And then there's a couple other characters where you can go on a nice, thoughtful date, like the anime equivalent of taking them out for dinner, usually just going for like a little walk or something and, talking about your feelings. And then that's the end of that. Yeah, so I went into this game, and I believe my experience probably made this game just that much better. I went into this game expecting it to be a dating sim. And then the first murder happens.
Spoilers.
It's not really a spoiler. It's like what kicks off the whole story. There's a murder. And at that point, it's like, wait, what? This isn't a dating sim. People are dying.
And the murderer is in the room.
In the room. No.
It's Phoenix Wright, Dragon Attorney.
Okay.
He actually does. He actually does. So, okay, so the main character makes a couple of pop culture references that sometimes feel out of place.
No.
But overall,
they are
okay.
out of place.
They are so fucking out of place. And it is the one thing there are 2 things about this game that I do not like. The only 2 things that absolutely upset me. And one of them was your character screaming objection while being asked to investigate a dead body. And the other dragon, Bryce, who is the police chief, after your character goes, objection, he's like, huh? And then your character goes, nothing, I just always wanted to say that. I thought that was so out of place, so unnecessarily fourth wall breaking that for a minute I had to like stop and go, wow, my character is a scumbag. Like,
well, okay, now here's the thing. So it may be a little out of place. I don't feel like it was that terrible because I feel like that kind of, I've not, encountered a dead body before. But I imagine that the amount of like stress and anxiety that would kind of put you under, perhaps you need a couple like icebreakers or whatever, tension relievers.
I wouldn't call that an icebreaker.
Icebreaker was the wrong term completely. Yes, but a tension reliever.
If you saw a dead body for the first time, you would not be making quips. You would be in complete shock. You'd barely be saying anything.
The thing is in the context of the conversation, Bryce is asking you to help him determine what happened to this dead body. And, you can either pick all the dumbest options ever, but just the fact that the objection is forced. Like, if objection was like a dialogue
was a prompt
option,
and you could have picked it. Yeah, okay.
Then
I'll
sure.
give you that.
But the fact that your character, no matter what even if you are picking all the correct options, therefore actually being intelligent about this investigation, and then your character says objection, nothing, I always wanted to say that. Wow, is that out of place and does not belong in that conversation at all.
I guess I can agree that you should let me decide to be a nerd or not.
Yeah.
Hell, I've got 2 gripes about the art style.
I guess, yeah, talk about the art style. I guess technically we talked about the writing just now, so yeah, on to art style.
All right. How do the dragons, like, the world depicted in the background is not suited for the dragons in this game.
I cannot wait to destroy you with logic. Go ahead, continue. Mister, I only played once.
Yeah, they explain a lot of it in multiple playthroughs, you fucker.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop you right there, buddy.
Let's just put Dilet into the fucking ground.
All right. No, we'll have to save that for the spoiler section.
Here, Dilettante, take the shovel, start working. We'll get back to you.
No, fuck your shovel.
Anyway, the writing in this game, aside from the objection, I actually really liked a huge majority of it. A lot of the characters that were supposed to be smart actually, sounded smart. Like Anna, even though she is very, I guess you could say
Abrasive.
Yeah, that's a very polite way of putting it. She's a scientist and she's incredibly smart. So even though she comes off as kind of a bitch, it's explained later why, but she is very intelligent to back it up. So she's not just being a stuck-up bitch for nothing. Each of the characters definitely, it put a voice in my head with the way the writing was. Each character was so different and unique that the writing just seemed natural for them.
Yep.
Bryce.
Each character actually felt like their own character.
Yeah. Instead of just a different picture on the screen with like the same text that you've been reading for the past hour.
With a couple exceptions, some of the bonus characters felt a little samey, but I mean they were thrown in like last minute. I think for maybe part of like a Kickstarter reward.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't remember his name, but the black fuzzy one.
Kevin.
Kevin, yeah, he felt kind of a Lorem 2.0 a little bit.
Yeah, he was literally there for like he only I think had like 3 or 4 dialogue options. And you get his achievement, and it was like kind of thrust on you no matter what. I think like you can't miss him, and all you have to do is just stop and be like, "Hey, what's up?" And then you can invite him back to your house, and then you can let him sleep there. But I still liked it. I liked him, but I skipped through a giant majority of his dialogue. It was all sorts of sciencey nonsense.
All right, so there are 5 dateable characters. Remy, Bryce,
Anna,
Lorem, Anna, and Adine.
Adine
or
Adine, I don't know.
And then there are 5 bonus side characters that exist for achievements. I don't know their names, and I don't care to know their names.
There was Kevin. I can't.
Amira was the culture minister, whatever.
Yeah, and then there was the old Eastern dragon with the ice cream.
Don't know his name.
I don't remember his name because it was very Asian.
Sebastian counts as a side. He was precious. We love him.
Oh yeah, no, I love Sebastian.
And then
we're missing one.
It wasn't Ipsum, was it?
No, you never got to date Ipsum, which is a shame because I liked him.
Yeah. Dilettante, who was it?
You guess as good as mine.
But listen, you played the game so many times.
I know, I should have remembered it, but I'm just drawing a blank right now.
You should know everything.
There's Kevin.
It was Zhang.
Katsuharu. Yeah,
it was Zhang.
Zhang. Katsuharu is the ice cream vendor.
But yeah, so five main paths, 5 side paths for achievements, and the game takes place over 5 days, 5 in-game days, and yeah, I think that's all to say about it before we start spoiling things.
Yeah, this game.
There's really not we can say without spoiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The intro is essentially so this is not a spoiler because the other thing is that there is a comic on their website, and the comic actually is a prequel of sorts to the game. So if you're really interested in playing this game, I would highly suggest reading through the comic. It took me like an hour and a half. There's 213 pages now, but a lot of them don't have text. It's scenery and stuff. But it will introduce you to the characters. Also introduce.
No, I would say do the comic after the game, just because that's the order they came out in.
I mean, not really. Well, I guess, but I don't know. It's up to you. If you want more backstory onto who some of these characters are before the game starts, it'll kind of give you a little bit of a preamble to their personality. The comic starts with. Then I won't go too deep into the comic, but the comic is from the main character, I guess you could say, is Sebastian. It starts with him, his first day on the force in this town, under Bryce, who is the new chief of police, and shows you a lot of the characters that will come and go throughout the course of the story. But the story on the human side, as you are human, you find a portal, a gateway, and you start passing notes through the gateway with whoever's on the other side. And it turns out that the people on the other side have access to highly advanced technological generators. And you have access to PDAs, which are basically the sum of all human knowledge. Basically iPads full of information. And the dragons on the other side want that. They want to know. They want to know how to build certain things. And you, on your side...
Quick interjection. Did we know they were dragons before going through the portal the first time? Okay, so like you go through the portal and you're like, oh shit, they're fucking dragons.
Yeah.
No, the first one went in and then sent a note back about there being dragons, and then you went in afterwards.
Oh, right.
Right.
Reza goes through and then finds out they're dragons. But
I guess we didn't know before Reza went through.
Correct. So basically, the setup to this whole story is that the humans are in desperate need of these generators, and the dragons are in desperate need of this information. And so you initiate an exchange, but you decide to do it in person. So they send Reza through, and Reza goes through, which I while playing it fresh, I already saw a problem. Reza went through with his PDA, a gun, and I think something else. It said the clothes on his back. So he goes through with the clothes on his back, the PDA that he's exchanging for a generator, and a fucking gun. And I'm like, that's bad. That's not good at all. And then a few days later, you're selected to go through and deliver the bulk of the PDAs, as well as pull back the bulk of the generators they've promised you. And so when you first show up in the dragon world, the first dragon you meet is Remy, the precious boy. Yeah,
he's precious boy.
He is precious.
He's not best boy, but he's precious boy.
And yeah, so that's where the story takes place. He escorts you back to essentially an ambassador suite that they prepared for you. It's kind of like a modest apartment. And they post Sebastian, who is what they call a runner in this universe. So there's runners who basically can run really fast. They usually don't have wings.
They also walk on two legs.
They walk on two legs, and they have hands. So they're actually capable of manipulating small objects. And so
flyers like a dean.
Flyers like a dean, which are basically wyverns. 2 legs and 2 wings.
Did they just call Bryce land dragons?
I think they call them earth dragons.
Earth dragons,
Earth dragons, which are your standard quadrupedal dragon. However, Bryce does not have wings, but Maverick does have wings. So it's like it seems kind of a crapshoot as to whether or not you become an Earth dragon.
Wait, hold on. I thought Bryce and Maverick were different species. I'm pretty sure they're different species because there's a lot of random subspecies you don't really get too good of looks at. They're kind of like in the background. Like Ipsum is a pure just like he looks like an Eastern dragon, right?
Yeah.
He's slightly elongated also, and there's that, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Ice Cream Man has wings either.
No, he doesn't.
A mirror certainly doesn't, so I think that's a completely different species.
Okay, so
I think there's aquatic dragons.
Bryce and Amira both are definitely the same because they have the flaps on their back. They're like pseudo wings. Because at one point in the game, Bryce will try to wag them for you, and you can like be impressed or not. Okay, so maybe they call actual dragons, the ones with wings, something different. But if they did, it was a throwaway line, and I don't remember it.
True dragons.
So let's just assume that that's what it is. There's true dragons that have wings and they're quadrupedal. There's earth dragons, which remove the wings. There's runners, which walk on their hind legs and have hands. And then there's flyers, which are basically wyverns. They, in fact, Adine mentions that she is much better at using her feet than she is using the pseudo
wingstop
hand
things,
wings,
whatever you call those. Are there officially aquatic dragons? Because I played a bunch of the mods and they had aquatic dragons in the mod, and I don't know if there were any in the base game.
No.
Okay, so that's not confirmed in the base game.
In fact, there's a dialogue line where you actually ask them if they've explored the entirety of their planet, and they basically say no. And you say, "Well, have you built ships?" And they're like, "Yeah, we built ships. It's just what's the point?" And then you ask if there's any other continents, and they're just like, You know, like they seem content with where they are.
But yeah, what do you guys think of the music?
I mean, it served its purpose. I didn't
Yeah,
really
it was
notice
music.
It was music. It wasn't obnoxious to the point where I was like, ugh, turn this off, but it wasn't great enough that I was like, I'm just gonna vibe for a minute.
It was like your generic dating sim music, really.
I vibed to the main menu music, but everything else was honestly kind of forgettable. Like it was there, it like blended in perfectly, so perfectly that I forgot it was even there.
Yes. But that's not necessarily a negative for me, because for me I was so fucking engrossed with the story that I don't think I would have noticed it anyway.
But yeah, like other games like Golden Treasure, like the music was great because even though it would fit, you would when you hear a new song, you kind of stop and listen to it for a bit. This never happened. The music was just there.
Yeah.
Hold on, writing, music, art.
We can't really talk about the animation.
Well,
There isn't animations.
no, there's not animations, but I did like how this is a game.
I mean,
this is a
they
game.
would turn some of the sprites around and make them walk off screen. There was that.
Yeah, this game was made in RenPy, which a lot of dating sims use that engine, and I have played since had a full boyfriend. I have played a bunch, mostly porn ones, but and none of them have done the having sprites move back and forth or move up or down or interact with each other. So I mean that's definitely a step they didn't have to take, but they did. So I like that.
It's charming.
It was pretty charming. Like when a character tackles another character, you got
Whoop-ah.
he moves across the screen and then both sprites go down and it's like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah. It's like playing with little figures on popsicle sticks.
It did really. Yeah, it did feel like someone behind the computer screen with popsicle stick track.
Which is adorable. I loved it. And I wish
Yeah.
more dating sims did that.
Yeah, it was good.
I don't think it's that hard to do, because I remember I looked into RenPy once because I wanted to make a dating sim, and I looked to see like how tricky it would be. I got some basic code to work. I didn't have any assets, so it's like, hey, here's a black screen with the red box where the character should be, and I got it to move and wiggle and all that. So I don't think it's that difficult. I think it's mostly just tedious.
Yeah.
But I guess that's everything to talk about pre-spoiler.
Yeah.
All right. Dilatan, X out of 5 stars, and would you live here?
1 out of 5 stars. No, there's a murder on the loose.
There's a murder on the loose everywhere.
Exactly. That's why I'm not going there.
No, I mean, like,
Okay,
every world has murders.
Hold on. Ignore the main character going through the portal. If and ignore other story elements that I can't talk about.
Okay, well then I would still say no because everything looks incredibly uncomfortable for a dragon, and I'm sticking to that point.
Okay, that's a valid point. Bantam,
How many stars?
X out of 5.
5 out of 5, and yes, I would live here in a fucking heartbeat.
Yep, same 5 out of 5, and yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be so uncomfortable.
I'm not.
Yeah, he's bipedal.
I'm bipedal. I'm essentially a runner and a flyer.
Your tail is gonna get caught in so much shit.
We're gonna have
that's
to.
fine.
We need to nerf you. We need to have to make your arms less dexterous, so you're only a flyer.
That's fine. I'll be a flyer.
Okay. Deal. I get to be one of the true dragons with the wings and everything because fuck you.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, I guess shit. Maybe I'll cut this earlier on before the rating because I just remembered. One thing I wanted to try to ask more often was, did you feel the dragons in this were actually dragons or were they humans in dragon suits?
For me, it was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
They did use, like, the thing is that unfortunately it's kind of tainted because they know what humans are.
So yeah, humans are actually mythical creatures in their mythology.
Yeah, it's weird that we would worship humans in such a way. But they believe that humans created us, and yeah,
It's
without
absolutely preposterous.
absolutely preposterous. But without getting into spoilers,
We
But,
shall enlighten them.
The title "Angel with Scaly Wings," the angel in this is humans.
Wait, I must have missed that. Really?
Yes.
It is their
When you-
depiction
when
of.
you give-
Is their depiction of the quote original angel human? Does he have wings?
So when Adine is asking you to give her a nickname for her her stunt show, if you pick Angel, she goes, like the mythological creatures that created us, as in humans. They not angels like with wings. it's angels being the creator instead of God, and with scaly wings meaning their creations.
All right, we should go ahead and move to the spoiler section so we stop cutting so much.
I mean, that actually doesn't feel like spoilers that need to be cut. It's just a scene from one of her dates later on.
Yeah.
But you both answered the dragons or dragon and human suit question, right?
Yeah.
You kind of talked over each other. So, yeah, okay.
We kind of had the same answer.
Which is maybe a little bit 50-50. All right, so we're going to take our intermission.
It's early because, unfortunately, this game
It's
gets
early. It's
into
still 47 minutes.
We're cutting out like 20 minutes of that.
That's why I say every single time, but hardly any ever gets cut. We'll probably cut like maybe 5 at the most.
All right, well, point being is that there's not a lot to talk about this game that isn't very, very story relevant, plot heavy. And so it's like, yeah, aside from telling you who the 10, main characters are and why you're here, you can't really go into too much detail.
Because basically the game is extremely story heavy, like to the point where it's like it shows you this little diorama on a table. It's like, this is what the game is. Look how fun. You get it, date dragons. And then 2 minutes in, table flip. Fucker, I tricked you. This is what the game is actually about.
There's a dead dragon. Figure it out.
Ah! Screaming ensues.
Yeah.
All right, I need to give a morning Kool-Aid. Let's go to break.
Welcome back. Dilettant's got his chalice of blood that he's going to be sipping on.
Cherry flavored. Yeah.
Now I'm just imagining we actually do like drink blood because dragons, and then you'd like, I need to put some cherry flavor in mine because it's too bitter.
I don't know why you people like the copper taste. I'm like, spice it up some,
But it's still warm, it's fine.
But no, you chill it. The fuck's wrong with you?
If you chill blood, it coagulates. What's wrong with you? You want it to be chewy?
It's quicker.
Bantam gagging in the background.
Yeah.
I think you just tuned us out.
All right, so I'm going to be honest with you guys.
Hold on, really fast. Record your warning so I can clip it to the front.
That's what I was just about to do.
Okay. I don't know what you're going to lead into.
Well, obviously what we talked about. Okay, so I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. I did not play this 100% through for 2 reasons. One,
because you're a loser?
No, one, because to be perfectly honest, these kinds of interactive stories are not really my jam. And second part, I got warned that this is incredibly heavy on the feels, and I'm not one to just get gut punched repeatedly and repeatedly in the heart.
Okay, so first off, Bantam, how dare you warn him? Second off, Dilettant, I don't know if it would gut punch you that hard because, to be fair, Bantam and I are much more emotionally unstable than you. And point 3, you're getting paid $4 a month on Patreon. You better put up with this stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't seen $4 since we started. What the fuck are you talking about?
I'll give you $4.
You better, motherfucker.
I'll give you $4 to read the book. That's coming up.
That's not enough. Gotta be 10.
All right, I'll give you 10.
Shit, I should have eyeballed it.
Now you're roped into it. Deal's made.
Nope.
There you go.
No, we never shook. No deal.
It's a verbal agreement.
Also, it is heavy on the feels. After I finished Anna, I was like, if I gotta go through this
9 more times.
9 more times, I was like, no, it's not going to be worth it.
Yeah, I sent a lot of screenshots to Ray while I was playing, and I was in tears multiple times throughout this game, and I kept telling Ray, I was like, I don't know if I want to play anymore.
Yeah, that was my favorite, honestly. So again, I'm a very emotional person, as in I like experiencing emotions and I like being around other people as they experience emotions. These can range anywhere from frustration, so like Salt is really fun. Tears are really good. This is why I made Dilettant cry during the D&D game.
You got very lucky on an unfortunate timed incident. Don't even try to brag about that.
I'm gonna brag about it.
You can't brag about that.
Point being is like emotional release is so good. It's why I want to watch A Dog's Purpose with you guys still so badly, and A Monster Calls really badly because emotional release is just like, So because of that, I loved this shit. I love the storylines, and yeah,
the storylines for each of the dragons were really good. Yeah.
So all right. Let's start. Does anybody want to like start something for the spoiler? Or can I just be like, all right, to start the spoiler section, fist on table.
How dare you do what you did to Vara?
Why do you hate Vara so much, developer?
I don't hate Vara.
No, developer. Why do you hate Vara so much?
Yeah, why do you hate her? Like, so we're in the spoiler section. So Vara is a little pink and like blue dragon. She's basically kind of like
pink and white. Oh no, you're right, pink and blue. I'm thinking of Amelie.
Pink and blue. And so she's little, and your first encounter with Vara is she's running through town, and she bumps into you, and she's got like a little bag in her mouth,
which is adorable.
Which is adorable. And
but when you second playthrough, you see that, and you're just like, oh no! It's the freaking Mr. Incredible meme where it's like he's smiling, and then the next picture is the black and white.
It's like all dark and
that's
corrupted.
exactly what it was.
Yeah. So how about for the spoiler section?
Seeing Vara on your first playthrough, seeing Vara on your second playthrough.
Yeah. So let's.
I have to make that a meme and post it onto the Reddits and Discords and stuff now.
Yes. So Vara's mother is sick and needs medication, and Vara is sent out to go get medication. But the prescription that she has is expired, so she can't get the medication she needs. I think
at the point of the first bump in, it's not expired yet.
Yeah. Well, the point being is that by the time you finally get the option to follow Vara, you follow her to a cave in the woods, and her mother is there dead. Vara is trying to feed her soup, tries to lift her head collapses back down and spills the soup, and Vara cries. Her mother's dead. Then later you find out that her father is the second murder victim.
Which is only slightly sad because apparently the mother and father were split up, like divorced in the first place. So the father being alive would not have saved the mother. It only becomes an issue when they would have to figure out where to put Vara afterwards.
Well, so here's the other thing. I don't recall that, but in the comics, it's just getting to Vara's storyline. And they had just, the maintenance guy, who is the second murder victim, and Vara's mother, they had just moved to this town. And she became a teacher, and she was apparently teaching things that this small town does not want their children learning. And so she got into a confrontation.
She was teaching evolution instead of creationism?
I feel like that's the allegory they're going for. But essentially, she gets into a fight with another faculty member, and when she gets home, there's a brick thrown through her window. And when she looks at the brick, it says, "You don't belong here, city slickers." And so it's small town hating someone moving in from the city. And so she calls the police. And the maintenance guy is, currently trying to fix a generator, and he gets into an argument with some old lady who is just being a Karen. But it's like, the part where we're at in the comic, they're happily married. They had just moved here. So
I might be wrong about them being split up, but I'm pretty sure they're split up.
I mean, they might be. But yeah, Vara is what I have a huge complaint about with the whole kick puppy thing. It's like, because even in the best ending, the true ending of this game, which we'll get into later, Vara barely has you don't get to save her mother, you don't get to save her dad. She's still an orphan, and it just sucks. It's so sad what they fucking put her through.
I mean, but sad shit happens. It just happens. That's just
doesn't even happen that much. God damn.
It doesn't. It really doesn't need to happen that much, because so each one of the main five have a good ending and a bad ending.
Well, hold on. I want to talk about Vara a bit more.
Okay.
Because
I was going to explain the mechanics of the game.
Well,
by this point,
by this point, they already know the mechanics. They should have played it during the break.
That's true.
So Vara, her best ending, she's still an orphan. I think she still ends up with Remy in the true ending, even though Remy takes Amelie. I think he takes both, ? I don't know. I know one of the mods for sure has him wanting to take both. But the worst ending is you don't follow Vara home, and when you hear about her being found later but through Sebastian, she's curled up all dead next to her dead mother, because she just gave up on life and starved.
Jesus fucking Christ.
How do you like those apples, Dilatan?
They soured. That suck.
So another quick aside. There's a couple scenes in this game that I didn't even see that Ray told me about later, and I think I probably would have quit the game. Like I don't I will admit I played through the game 3 times on my own. I got a Dean's bad ending, and then I got a Dean's good ending, and then I think I got Remy's bad. I got
really, you
another
got double
bad
or
ending.
Dean?
Yeah, well, because I went after her because she's my waifu. I love her.
Okay.
But no, I think I got the I just don't give a shit about anyone ending on the third one. And at that point I was like, this game is fucking sad. I'm going to follow a guide. And so I found a guide. It was an achievement guide, but it would also get you all the endings, you know.
Well,
good
because
and evil.
there's achievements to all endings, so yeah.
Yeah. And so I followed the guide. I mean, I read everything, but I followed the guide. Some of the choices that it was like, make this choice here, I was like, why? But, you know, apparently it was necessary. And yeah, I saw some stuff. I mean, some of these endings. Ooh.
Some of these endings, man. I'll forgive you using a guide because 3 endings on your own, yeah, that's fine. I would have gone a bit. I think my first playthrough, I got like 8 of the 10 major endings before I looked into a guide because some of them had really weird flags that I couldn't figure out how to trip.
So the reason I started with a guide after only 3 endings was because my third ending was actually the worst. Like I got nothing, like nobody. When I got the option to go to the festival. Huh? Yeah, I got the Hot Council. And then when I started my 4th ending, I saw things going worse. And I was like, all right. And so I actually technically finished 4 endings before the guide because I remember it was the second time when it asked me who I wanted to take with me to the fireworks at the end of the game, and I got no one. And I was like, well, this is going to be the same ending as the third one. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get what I'm doing wrong. So I was just like, yep, I'm going to follow guide.
Do you think you were spreading yourself too thin between the dates, or were you just not tripping the flags correctly on the dates?
I think I was too emotionally traumatized to process what was happening.
I guess that's fair.
Well, so I won't go into too much detail with this one, but I know that on my second playthrough, when Adine is going to the flying show, and your character is just relentlessly begging her not to do it, and you don't get a choice. This is not you picking dialogue options. This is a long-form conversation where your character is like, don't do it, you'll die. Don't do it. This is a terrible idea. Don't do it. There's always next year. And I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, let her fucking do it. But your character is like, no, this is terrible. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And then she gets mad at you and she does it anyway. Or she leaves to go do it anyway. And I'm like, holy shit, dude, I would have given up halfway through that fucking, like, you tell her to not do it like 7 times. And I was like, okay, I kind of feel like the game took away any agency I had as a player at that point. And so at that point, I was like, all right, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to follow a guide.
Yeah. Quick question for you two on your first playthrough, because when I did it again, I had some saved game data that I couldn't figure out how to get rid of. So a couple flags were already tripped. The very first time you go through and you go to the building with the bomb, is there a way to not let Bryce die on the first playthrough? Because I felt like him dying was scripted the first time through until you figure out the time loop.
Yeah, no, he is scripted to die.
It does not give you the choice to go in before him?
You get 2 dialogue options to tell him, I'll go in first. And he says, no, I'm going in first. It's my job. Okay. And so no matter what you say to him, he will always go in first. Because I think that's supposed to set the precedent of you really shouldn't let him go in first.
I guess so. Because, yeah, I remember my first time playing through that because Bryce is my husbando, and I was trying to date him, and then he fucking dies, and I was so salty, and then I just managed to, second playthrough onward, always forever saved him at that point, but the first playthrough I remember being very salty, but I couldn't remember if that was scripted or not, because there was another guy on YouTube that I watched his playthrough just because I was curious, I want to see his reactions, whatever. And he saved Bryce's first playthrough. I'm like, wait, that shouldn't happen.
I don't think that's possible.
I feel like he cheated.
I don't think that's possible. So there's a possibility that he either he did what you did and played it once before a long time ago, gave up on it, and then was like, hey, I'll play this for a stream or something. Or he was lying and like, oh, it's first time. And it's like, no, it isn't. But yeah, because I remember thinking to myself, because the context they give for that scene is that they're pretty sure Reza is in that house.
Uh-huh.
And so they want you, they we got him surrounded. Let's go get him. And you get the option to say, I think it would be better if I go in first because, he obviously wanted to talk to me. And then Bryce is like, no, that's not a good idea. And you're like, no, I really think I should be the first one to go in there. And he's like, you're right. That would be a good idea, but it's still my job. So I'm going to go in first. And then he just goes in and dies. And so it's like, oh, okay.
Diletan, do you concur? Was Bryce forced to die on your first playthrough?
Yes.
He sounds very choked up about it.
So
I'm always choked up.
so the storyline is
Hold on, can I ask one question just because it's on the topic of Bryce's forced death before we leave that topic behind? How do you two feel conceptually as a game mechanic where the first time you play through you were scripted into certain things and you don't really get all your choices to open up until the second playthrough? There was a DS game for Star Fox, and it was called Star Fox Command that played kind of like a visual novel, but it had actual gameplay because it's a Star Fox game. So you go to the mission, you fly around, shoot things, whatever. But there were interactions between the characters between the missions that played like a visual novel. And your first playthrough, you could only do one path, so you were guaranteed 100% to get ending A. Every other pathway had a lock symbol on it because you could not choose it. But then when you beat the game, it says, hey, you unlocked the whatever fucking key we're calling this, all the other dialogue options now unlocked, have fun.
Okay, so for me personally, I love it. And the reason why is because if I thought that, same thing with Hatoful Boyfriend, if I felt like all of my dialogue options led me to the worst ending, I would have just quit. I would have been like, well, this game's too weird for me, or apparently my personality is shit and I lose. So I wouldn't have played again. Knowing, and it's only because you did kind of tell me, which I appreciate. You're like, well, you play through it again and you'll understand. Play through it again, you'll understand more.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only reason I once I got like 3 or 4 of the endings, I absolutely could not stop. I needed to get the true ending.
Mm-hmm. I felt the same way.
The game, in a way, was like, yeah, here's a couple crumbs, but if you want the whole cake, you're gonna have to keep playing. And I'm like, all right, yeah, fuck yeah.
And now you're completely lost in the sauce.
I'm completely lost in the sauce. If Golden Treasure was Ray's perfect game, Angels with Scaly Wings was mine.
Okay, so you generally like the idea of the game locking you into one pathway for the first playthrough.
Yes.
Okay, Diletan, your thoughts on it?
Me personally, no. I like it when a game awards a player for experimenting and trying to figure stuff out. If you lock it behind, it'll me at least, it discourages it because you feel like you can't change it.
Yeah, I'm mostly asking because like Bantam brought up the whole My Perfect Game thing. Like several times in the Golden Treasure episode, I said like I wanted to make a game that would have done this, and that, or whatever. So it's like if I were to make a game, my idea was it was going to be super open world, super sandboxy, super like there's 100 events on this table, but it only rolls 10 of them on a playthrough, so that it's got a lot of replayability and all that, right? But the first playthrough until you either got an ending or got at least 60 to 80% through before gaming over, it would be scripted. Like you're gonna hit these events in this order until you beat it the first time, and then we're gonna start randomizing everything. And I was just wondering what you guys' thoughts on that was.
Well, that would probably not work. Didn't you have to play back hundreds of times for a chance to get one of the endings? Because you probably re-roll the same ending.
Well, it wasn't gonna be like an ending, like to where like I don't know how to explain it. That suffice to say, that wouldn't have been an issue because all the events that would be tied to endings would either have much higher roll chances or be kind of a given. Like, if there's 10 events that are going to randomly roll, slot 1 is going to be one of these 3 events all the time because these 3 events will handle the endings, and the other 9 slots are going to be just random filler, like how Golden Treasure had a bunch of random filler stuff.
Yeah, I can see it. Going back to the lock in the path, what I like is giving the player all the options, and then picking one puts you down that path. And then when you actually finish, you wonder what the other options will do. That encourages more exploration than locking it back, forcefully locking it away from you until your second playthrough.
There's also something to be said, and don't worry, I'm not going to spoil it. But there's also to be something to be said about the Outer Wild style of there are no locked options. Everything is available to you from the very beginning, but with information that you gain through the playthrough, you start to piece together more, and then eventually you can go get the true ending, because but that would require note taking, and I also feel like that works for Outer Wilds because it's an adventure narrative game, whereas this is a dating sim, so
Yeah.
it doesn't really work in this situation, but there is something to be said about it.
Another thing that the Star Fox game did that I want to just bring up, because since the developer might listen to this and this can be something that he puts in his second game, one thing it did is if you got endings A, B, D, and E, every dialogue option that would lead to those endings was highlighted green, saying you've already done this to the end. So you can pick a yellow option to get an ending you haven't gotten.
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah. It makes it so you don't really need a guide anymore, because you're like, oh, I just go down this path and I'll get a new ending. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, or you could just follow a guide. It's about the same thing.
I guess it depends if you're okay with, like, you'd rather the community come up with the guide themselves, or if you just want to be like, all right, guys, I'm just going to hand it to you. Here you go.
All right, Ray, are you going to cut out the bit of the first part of my furniture rant? Because if so, I got to re-rant about that. Holy shit.
I'll cut off the second part. Like, the listeners will know you started ranting about furniture, but then we cut you off and we're like, no, we'll talk about it later. So you can continue it now.
All right, furniture rant.
Part 2.
Part 2. The re-ranting.
Part two.
No dragon would use anything in this world. Fuck, I can't re-rant. It's always hard to bring an argument.
I feel like the runners are fairly comfortable.
No, not even that. Okay,
What problem do you have with chairs? You're sitting in one right now.
yeah, because I'm upright. The runners are like the equivalent of a hunchback for a human. They would have to push their chair like maybe 2 feet back and then lean all the way forward to try to use it.
Hold on a minute. I did not pay enough attention to the backgrounds. I have no idea.
I did, because I was...
No. Let me finish my thing. Were they completely hand-drawn, or were they stock images that were put through a filter?
They were neither. I think they were actually 3D assets that were then put through a filter.
Okay. I guess 3D assets fits into the photo through a filter. It means that we shouldn't take it too seriously. They could have been slightly differently shaped chairs. He just didn't want to put in the effort to make his own background, so he just bought some stock images or stock assets and then just threw something together real fast. So we should not take him too literally.
Oh, I'm going to take it literally. It will not...
Developer, how dare you use stock assets, make custom backgrounds.
We review the world the dragons live in. And the world is in the background image. And those images, hold on, let me see if I can...
Just pull up an image.
Angels with Scaly Wings Diner.
So how you doing, Bantam?
I don't know what to start freaking out about.
So you're sitting there, your floodgate is jammed, and once it starts going, it's not going to stop, but starting is going to be an issue.
Yeah. just know that once one of you cracks that fucking dam, it's over.
Hey, developer, we love you. Be gentle with Bantam's rants. He doesn't mean it. He still loves the game.
No, it's not even necessarily a bad rant. I already got out what I don't like. I don't like how they treated Vara at all in the story. And
what about when she gets shot?
and I also
that,
don't...
Okay, listeners, that was that image, the one where she's shot and Remy's crying over her. That's the image he sent me and said, I don't want to play this game anymore.
Yeah, so in Remy's bad ending, he
adopts her.
He adopts Vara halfway through the game. He's like, oh my god, I could adopt, because he wants a kid, but he doesn't have one, so you convince him to adopt, and he decides to adopt Vara because Vara's mom is now dead and her dad's dead too, and so she's super happy. And then during Remy's bad ending, when you're again, this is why I feel like we should have told the whole general story before we got into each ending, because I'm tiptoeing around Reza. But
I mean, no need to tiptoe in the spoiler section.
Yeah, I know, but each one of them, it's slightly different, so you give the base and then whatever. But Reza shoots a bunch of people, and then as he's running to the portal to get away at the very end of the game, Vara tries to bite him in the leg to stop him, and so he just plugs her, and then he leaves. He goes through the portal.
So Reza's a psychopath, confirmed.
Yeah, Reza. So the general plot, seeing as Dilettant's gone.
No, he's not gone.
I'm right here. I've been waiting for you guys to finish a tangent so I can rant about these chairs.
We got so many rants that are lined up.
Oh, sorry. I thought you went somewhere.
No, he was looking for screenshots.
And I found them. I sent them to both for you in Telegram. Which apparently Bantam is right. It is like 3D assets
Yeah,
put through a weird filter.
Yeah, I didn't pay enough attention to the backgrounds on any of my playthroughs,
I
like the
did,
20
'cause-
combined. So, because again, backgrounds, you don't really care. It's like it sets the scene, but you don't really care about the backgrounds.
I mean,
I care about the
because
world, damn it.
imagine you remove all the backgrounds from the game. Now it's just a bunch of characters in white space or black space.
Well, that's
just-
why you have a background, but it doesn't really matter how filtery they are, or if they're hand drawn, or if they're stock photos or whatever. It's like they could have been stock photo backgrounds with no filter, and it would have been fine. It may have been weird art style clashing, but it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But the point is that is definitely stock assets put through a 3D model blender thing. I don't know your fucking human terms. But the point is, I don't think we should take them too seriously. The chairs are not necessarily made that way in a Dragon World. I argue in favor of a little, what's the term, suspension of belief or whatever, for the sake of verisimilitude.
Fine, but it's still going to bug the hell out of me.
It's fine. You can be anal about it if you want.
I will, damn it.
What you doing, Bantam? I hate clicks.
I'm actually searching for a screenshot as well.
Okay.
Because I know that in the comic, really early on in the comic, they all go out to the bar.
Okay, and that, because that's completely hand-drawn for the sake of the comic, that we can take seriously. So when you find that, let us know.
Okay.
In the meantime, I guess I'll interview Dilatan. Dilatan,
Ray.
your single ending. You
Yes.
chose Anna. Does that mean Anna is best girl? The one ending you got was Anna.
Personally, I wanted to go with, what's her name? The banana dragon, the yellow one.
No,
Nadine.
she's mine.
That's
Stay
why
the
I
fuck away
didn't
from
go
her.
with her. So I was like, yeah, all right, I'll fine. I'll do Anna. Let's see where this goes. And no, she fucking died of cancer.
I think it's hilarious. Your first and your second choices are both females.
I mean, they're dragons. It's like, whatever.
I just think it's funny.
I already knew ahead of time it wasn't really a dating game. I did get kind of spoiled for a bit, which personally I was thankful for. My emotional tolerance is very low.
I don't know. There's some things that get me good, and you're like, what? So maybe it's not. Maybe it's not as low as you think it is.
Or maybe we have different tolerance for different things.
Did you manage to get her sex scene? Her implied sex scene?
It's not implied.
It's
pretty
implied.
much-
It's
not
implied
shown,
because
but
it doesn't show anything. It doesn't have any descriptive text at all. So it is the most fade to black thing you've ever seen, and so it is implied. It's not alluded. It's wait.
I
alluded
feel like
versus
implied does mean, though, like, did it or did it not? It's up to you. But it's like, no, she very much threw you down and fucked you.
Anna is femdom.
She is.
She really is.
So the other thing about Anna from the comics is she's trying to learn how to cure her cancer. And the council that basically hands out laboratory space as well as funding has declined her request. They've never declined her request before, so she's absolutely shocked. And so she decides she's going to sneak in with another research group, and she's going to offer them her knowledge in exchange for them letting her use their space. And she goes to one team who they basically just waste her time for about 5 minutes, then tell her that, you know, she's a bitch and that they already know that she's just trying to use them, and they tell her to go kick bricks. Then the second person is someone who's like, oh my God, I looked up to you. I even had your poster on my wall. You're the greatest. And she's like, oh, thank God. You know, and she goes, I also remember when I met you and I asked you for an autograph and you shoved me out of the way and told me to get lost, kid. And she goes, payback's a bitch, and then slams the door in her face. So she misses out on that one. And it's actually Damien is the only researcher that allowed her to work with him. And in exchange, he wanted to have sex with her. And so she did. And so she basically used sex to get what she wanted. And then she contacted her lawyer and got his research grant taken away and given to her, so that she then became lead researcher on his project and he became her assistant somehow. And so he threatened to blackmail her, and she's like, that's fine, I've got blackmail on you too. So they were both blackmailing each other and using sex against each other. It's just bad all around, but I understand why she did it. She's trying to cure her cancer, but it's like, holy shit, you are a bitch.
Stop at nothing.
I mean, yeah, if you're dying of cancer and you think that there's a chance that you can cure yourself, you would stop at nothing. So
Mm-hmm.
it's understandable. But oh my God, it's like if she had just told people, like, hey, I'm dying of cancer, I'm going to try to cure it for myself. Please give me the funding because worst case scenario, I fail and I'm dead. So you won't have to deal with me anymore. Like, why she didn't just tell people, hey, I have cancer
A little too
is
proud.
yeah, but she fucking tells everybody by the end of the game. So it's like, just tell somebody.
I don't know. Having read the comic, do you think it validates Damien's behavior in game?
Oh hell yeah. Oh, I feel super bad for Damien.
Because I mean, playing the game, you're like, man, I hate Damien.
I love the way Damien looks. Damien is handsome as fuck. I love the way he, has the lab coat on with like you can see the frills underneath it. So you're like, ooh, those look pretty. I wonder what he looks like without the lab coat on. You get to see that in the comic. But yeah, Damien basically just wanted a one night stand with her as part of his deal. And then later on was just like, hey, like he thought maybe I could get a little more. Maybe I could actually date her. Like he seemed actually interested in her. And he's like, hey, after work, do you want to go get coffee? And then at that point, she immediately turned on him. Like, oh, I see what this is, you piece of shit. Fuck you. And he's just like, okay. Like, I mean, we had sex. Like, can we not do that again? And she's like, oh, you piece of shit. And it was like, all right, holy fuck, poor Damien. It also explains why Damien was so angry when you refer to him as Anna's assistant in the game, because he essentially actually is, and because his research was taken away from him.
Hey, fun fact, Dilatan. There is actually a sequence of events you can do to end the game with all the main characters dead.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Even more depression.
Yeah, Ray told me about that. Like, there's a specific set of actions you can take to just have everyone die.
You do not date Anna, so she gets murdered. You let Bryce get blown up. You let Adine do her thing and she crashes and dies. You don't go exploring with Lorem, so he drowns by himself. And you are mean to Remy, so he hangs himself.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So for the Remy one, you kind of have to go into it being malicious, from what Ray said. You have to basically be super nice to him in the beginning, and then halfway through the game, just flip on him and be super mean to him. And apparently, there is a painted fucking CG of him hanging himself. And I was like, no, I can't. So I'm having trouble finding this scene of them.
Just go
Did you
through
find the
all
comic, though?
comics. Yeah, he's got the comics.
I'm on the comics page.
How's the furniture look?
That's the thing is like I'll send this one because I'm just sitting on that one.
Wait, what? He's a quadruped. How is he sitting in that office chair?
Again, they make do. It's not necessarily comfortable, but they make do because, I mean, what else?
Hey, it's Best Boy. It's Bryce. Actual Best Boy is Maverick, but he's not dateable. Hopefully he's dateable in the sequel.
Yeah, what happened to Maverick's, what was his younger brother?
Oh, he got the crazies and he had to get put down.
So, regardless of Ray's protesting, the general plot of the game is you come through the portal to make this exchange. Reza is already there. He is being guarded by Maverick, who is a gray true dragon, wings and everything. Maverick does not trust us. Maverick does not trust dragons. Jesus Christ. One more time. Maverick does not trust humans. And your guide, the one that you as the player, is Sebastian, relatively inexperienced on the Force. Reza, in the very first ending, tries to tell you a secret message by writing it in a way that only lemon juice can reveal the message.
No, it's written in lemon juice. He's supposed to put a light to it or something.
Oh, right. And the message was essentially, meet me at the gateway tonight. So you go there, and then Maverick shows up going, what are you guys fucking talking about? And so Reza pulls out a gun and shoots him.
Bam.
And then runs away. It doesn't kill Maverick, but it severely injures him. And at that point, Maverick knocks you out, hits you with his tail, because he thinks you're in cahoots with Reza. There is one thing about this game that I absolutely fucking applaud, which is in every single ending except I think 2, Reza dies. Reza is killed. And the sheer amount of ways that Reza can be killed and actually having custom art of that, love it. Love it. There's one ending where you have a copy of his gun because of the way the time shenanigans work. Like you pick up his gun in one ending and then you just have it in your inventory. And so one ending you show up in the underground vault and just fucking unload on him and just kill him. There's an ending where Anna incinerates his upper half. So exposed muscle and flesh, and he's dead. There's endings where he gets bitten. There's an ending where his neck gets slashed by a claw. There's so many different endings where Reza is painted in different ways with like gunshot wounds, bite marks, blood pouring everywhere. And it made me so happy. It made me so happy to see him just murdered in all these different ways, because fuck Reza. Reza has his own motivations, which are explained in the comic, but I don't care. It's the whole basis for this game's plot is there is a meteor coming for Earth. This planet is Earth in the past. The dragons are not dragons; they're dinosaurs that were modified with human DNA and also just essentially messed with. Humans playing God. And created dragons, essentially, reptilian beasts that had the ability to breathe fire, had thick armor, blah, 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 blah. So, essentially, there's only one way to stop the meteor from hitting the planet, and it's going to require all their generators to generate enough power, I guess, to create a shield or blast it. They don't really explain.
They just say divert. They don't explain how exactly.
Yeah, they need all these generators to divert the.
Well, because if they try to explain how, then everyone's like, well, that doesn't work, and starts picking the game apart. So you have to be vague about it.
That's true. So yeah, there's a comet headed for the dragon's planet, and it's going to wipe out all life. In the true ending, you don't stop the comet. All the dragons go through the portal into the human world and help rebuild society there. One thing you should know about the human world is it is a post-apocalyptic wasteland. There was an event called the blast.
It was a solar flare. I don't know what they called it.
It was a solar flare. It essentially wiped out all technology. And these PDAs are the only things that survived that basically contain the sum of all human knowledge. Computers don't work. Cars don't work. Blah, blah, blah.
It's a Warhammer 40k time.
Yeah. And so humanity has dwindled down into essentially warring city-states. And Reza is found in the desert, half buried and nearly dead. And they grab him and they bring him back to this one city-state. And they heal him. And in exchange, they're like, hey, do you think you could help out? He ends up befriending a small child whose parents were both killed by raiders. And Reza also inexplicably has a bionic arm. It's literally a cybernetic arm that has like skin over it, kind of like Terminator. And he doesn't know why he has that. But he is out scouting for supplies one day when raiders attack the town and they kill the child. And they kill a whole bunch of other people. And then they steal some of the generators that are powering what's left of the city. A lot of people are held in essentially back-to tanks. They're in stasis pods to keep them alive until they can be healed. And they don't have a doctor, so they're just keeping them stable. And with the generators gone, these people are about to die. Hundreds of people or something, I don't know. But so Reza, they say they captured one of the raiders. Reza goes in and caves in his skull. Basically, tell me where they are, and the guy refuses to tell, so Reza just punches him with the bionic arm until his head collapses. That's as far as it's gotten in the human storyline, but I guess essentially the reason why humanity needs these generators so bad is to literally prevent a huge chunk of their population from dying. And the dragons want to know more about the humans, so that's why they want the PDAs. And it's not like humanity really has much use for them. They kind of already know all this knowledge. They just can't access it with computers and such. But in the true ending, the dragons come through the portal because there's really no saving their world. And they just learn to live with humanity on the current planet, which is where Angels of Scaly Wings 2 is going to take place it's after the true ending where the dragons are now living with humans on.
Yeah, 5 years later, right?
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it even
please,
says in
for
the
the love of-
trailer, it starts with a murder. And it's like,
Well, it's like-
okay.
For the love of God, please have no more time travel.
Yeah, I kind of hope it doesn't.
I'm so burned out on time travel.
Well, I mean,
I swear to God,
it's...
if Reza comes back,
you're gonna hate my
this is-
D&D campaign.
because if Reza comes back in the sequel, because this is the Reza from another timeline, he's come to get vengeance because you fucked him up in all those other timelines or whatever.
Yeah, but
Then I will quit the game right then and there.
Reza doesn't die in the true ending. He's taken prisoner.
no.
Do you remember? They take the entire last
Dude,
ending.
I've played through so many
Okay.
endings, I can't keep them all straight
So
now.
in the true ending, all the main characters are in your apartment at the very end when you get the option to invite everyone, and you basically tell them, "Listen, I know this is going to sound crazy, but time travel." And they're like, and then you out everybody's secrets to each other, and everyone's fighting for a little while, and then they're like, "Okay, but we need to focus on Reza." And then Bryce teaches everybody how to use the handcuffs, gives everybody a pair of handcuffs, and then Anna has a taser. And so she is like, I'm going to tase the shit out of him, and then we'll cuff him. And so you have this great plan, and it's to ambush Reza, tase him, and cuff him. And he doesn't kill anybody. And
Anna talks Maverick out of killing him, so yeah, he is alive.
yeah, so Reza is alive in the true ending. He was taken prisoner, and
Shit, he is going to be the villain in the second one. Oh, I hate it so much. I'm so sick of Reza.
I am too, which is why it made it so cathartic to watch all the different ways he died. And even though it was arguably the worst ending, the I think it's called the Do Nothing ending or something like that. I got it really early on. It was I think it was the Betrayal, See the Evil ending, but you just kill him. You just fucking unload on Reza. Like, you even tell him, like, I've seen what you're gonna do. This is what you're doing, and you know what? Fuck you. And you just shoot him. And I was like, oh, that's fucking beautiful.
So even though there's the true endings, like the ending I like better is the one where Reza dies, the portal shut down, humanity's fucked, but you get to live with the dragons and they live with the comet. Hooray!
Yeah, and
that's actually the best ending.
I forget why that ending needs to be undone.
Because the game is forcing you, the main character, to be like, but no, humans deserve saving too. So I'm going to give up my 95% completed ending and try to go for the 100.
They're living like Mad Max. Fuck that world.
Yeah, basically.
Reza is very well dressed for someone who came from a wasteland.
Well, this is like several years after he came from the wasteland. He's I think, been integrated into the failing human society. But yeah, fuck Human Town.
Yeah. I don't see. I understand that, you know, the main character is not us. That he hasn't even though he doesn't. The main
character is a human and not a dragon, so it makes sense he cares about humanity.
But at the same time, he doesn't have a name, so they're trying to put you in his shoes. And at the same time, it's like, if he didn't have like I kind of almost wish they gave him a sprite. A character thing, you know, so have him on the other side of the screen, because that would make more sense as to why he's like, even though everything seems great right now, I think I should go back and try again to save humanity. Because yes, he would, but we as players, I don't give a fuck about humanity.
There are a couple mods that I dicked around with. Some of them, I think it's called the post-true ending mod or something. No, that's not it. There's another mod where after you get the pseudo good ending to a couple characters where you get to live with them, they live with the comet and everything's fine, right? The administrator comes to talk to you, but this version of the administrator is you, because that happened at some point.
Yeah. Well, because it's explained in one of the endings that no matter what happens, either you or the administrator die, and then the surviving half need to go back and fix it.
Yeah. So you're talking to yourself, and yourself is like, all right, so because I'm you, I understand what's going through our head. We want to save humanity, but there's also, you know, this perfectly decent timeline here. So I'll let you decide. You can stay or you can go, and I will fill the other role. And so in the mod, you can say, I want to stay. And then he's like, all right, I knew you'd pick that, but I figured I would just ask. And so he goes back in time to try to get the true ending, and it leaves you, the player, behind in this much better timeline where you get to go and have fun times with Bryson or Adine or whoever.
Yeah.
And it's like, see, that's good. We should make that mod canon.
So just a quick shotgun blast through some of the endings. Anna's
I'm-
good. What?
I was gonna say I don't know if we need to because they should have played them on their own, but I guess maybe they only got half of it and then listened to us. So
They probably
I guess,
got depressed and stopped.
Yeah, no,
They probably pulled Dilettante.
that dude. I was all right. So I admit that I cried twice in Golden Treasure Great Green, the rabies event and something else that hit me. I don't remember what it was, but the this game had me crying at nearly every person's. Every major character had at least one scene that kind of ruined me. In Anna's good ending, she dies of her cancer. She didn't cure it.
That choked me up a bit when the final line is "At least I'm not alone." I'm like, oh
Yeah, she's laying in a bed, like she looks withered and like weak, and she's got all these tubes hooked up to her, like you would see a cancer patient. And you're at her bed, and she goes, "At least I didn't die alone." And that fucking sucked.
Yeah, that gut punched me too.
The bad ending for Anna, that's her good ending. The bad ending for Anna is she sacrifices herself to kill Reza. She is shot multiple times. She then slices Reza's neck with one of her toe claws, and Reza bleeds out, choking on his blood. And Anna is like, "Hey, listen, I know a bit about biology. I'm not making it out of this." And you're like, "What? No." And she's like, "No, yeah, I'm dead. But
I know where I've been shot. I'm not getting out of this."
yeah," she's like, "I know where I've been shot. It's over." And she dies. I feel like that's even better than dying slowly of cancer, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
You'll be happy to know that one of the post-trending mods or whatever, where you stay behind with Anna and she would die for her cancer, you're like, wait, but we know how to cure it and you have our PDAs, so let's go steal a PDA and you can cure your cancer.
yeah, you as the main character, apparently on the human side, on the human side of the portal, they've cured cancer. So you literally get the option to be like, "Yeah, we've cured cancer. Like, do you want to
This game never gives a year on the human side, does it?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't even pull like a 20XX thing.
Actually, I think that's literally what it does.
20XX?
20XX, yeah. And then so for Remy's good ending, you essentially date.
But before we move on to Remy, I'm sorry to interrupt you so many times.
No, it's fine.
Just every time I do, I hear you go because you're letting out your talking breath.
I'm letting out
like
my talking breath.
Sigh.
It does sound like I'm annoyed. That's not the case. It's more like I took a big breath so that I could just fucking go, and then I'm like, I don't need to.
Okay. So since we talked about Anna's two endings, right? Let's talk a bit more about Anna herself as a character. We can basically tackle the characters one at a time like this, right?
Okay.
So like we talked on Anna's two endings. We also did talk about a little bit about her before when you were going off about the comic. But just in general, did you guys like Anna?
I liked her attitude.
You liked her attitude?
I fucking hated her. I actually, because again, I play dating sims or games like this. I pick the dialogue option that sounds most like what I would have said at the time. And when you're taking her out for coffee and she's being a bitch to a dean and then being a bitch to you. And
okay, yeah, no, I actually did hate that.
And you one of your dialogue options is, "Okay, I'm just going to shut up and drink my coffee in silence." And she's like, "Sorry, it's just..." And you're like, "Okay, now we're getting somewhere." And then she immediately just goes right back to bitch mode. And I'm like, "All right, well, fuck you."
I appreciate how dominant she was when you got into her later romance scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Also, one thing I wanted to bring up, one of her date scenes where you go and steal a cow, or the equivalent of a cow.
Mm-hmm. That was equivalent of sheep.
Whatever. The equivalent of something.
The equivalent of a farm animal.
And she just brutalizes it, and then you guys cook it over a fire or whatever, and it shows you just the painted scene of her sitting there just covered in blood. I'm like, all right, that's actually kind of hot. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure Bantam isn't going to agree with that because he's very queasy around blood. But I remember thinking that it's like, all right, I can get behind this.
Only you, Ray.
Only me. Only me. No, it's fine. I have a couple of the Dragon fans that agree with me.
I mean, I given everything I know about Anna now, I like her. I really do. Her bitchy attitude, it makes entire sense.
Wait, which dragon stuck their tongue down your throat, or was that a mod that I'm confusing?
We should probably talk about mods if we're reviewing the base game.
There was a dragon you kiss at some point, and the tongue goes on your throat, and it catches you off guard, and you like choke on it for a bit, and then when they pull away, they like kind of chuckle or something.
Yeah, that's a
But I
mod,
can't-
buddy.
Okay.
The only dragon that kisses you is Remy, and he does it with like pursed lips, like a mwah. You fucking
Zero context. That was hilarious, huh?
yeah, it was. Which dragon rammed their tongue down your throat, or was that a mod? Oh Jesus!
Okay, so I guess the thing to take away from this is get the mods. They're better. Dude, okay, okay. Let's move on to Bryce, so I can talk about Bryce's mods afterwards.
Okay.
The thing I'll say about Anna's mod, since neither of you know anything about the mods for Anna, they let you save her from cancer if you stay behind in her world. There's also another mod that has a court case because the last stuff she did was illegal, and yeah, that's basically it. All right, on to Bryce, the best dateable boy, because Maverick's best boy, he's not dateable. Bryce, his two endings, I can't remember which one was good and which one was bad.
The good ending, shit. I know one of the endings he shot and killed along with Maverick. So I'm assuming that's the bad one. And the good
That's
one,
gotta be the bad if he dies.
the good one is the bomb goes off and Maverick escapes, and Maverick is like, "Where's Bryce?" And you're like, "He was in the building when it
Oh
exploded."
yeah, he's trapped underwater, and you have to do some mouth to mouth to give him some air.
Yeah, and then you have to help him dig out of the rubble.
And then you guys could have a happily ever after, but that's when the administrator slips and says, "No, you got to go back and do it better."
Yeah,
Because the fact that the thing blew up means that the comet can't be diverted, so it's actually like bad for both of you and the administrator.
yeah.
So yeah, okay. So that was it. So one, he dies alongside Maverick at the end. And the other one is you have to leave him behind.
Yeah. And he's even really sad about it. He's just like, why can't you just stay? And you're like, no, I have to do it again.
Slide veering into mod territory. One of the mods, the true ending, follows the true ending, so you're staying behind, but humanity's not safe. So Administrator Yu comes to talk to you about the option to go back in time to try to save both sides. And in this mod, that conversation happens in front of Bryce, and so he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" But Administrator Yu is like, tells you, "Hey Bryce, I've missed you," and it's like, oh, because that's supposed to be the you from the timeline where you had to leave him behind on a doomed world.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's sad. But yeah, so Bryce, I love him mostly because he's a total horn dog.
So-
he is the other character besides Anna that explicitly does stuff with you. There's a scene where he's laying on his couch, giving you the bedroom eyes and the smirk, and you're holding a wine bottle up to block his crotch.
It's very much implied that he is fully erect, and
Yeah.
you get three dialogue options if I recall. One was scream, another one was stare, and I think the third one was accept. I don't, but I just thought it was really
it was
funny
funny.
that just screams.
I mean, okay, so in one of the earlier scenes of the game, you're looking to the grocery store and you get to the contraceptive section, and it says how, wow, some of these could fit on your arm. And so it's like, I could understand that being scream-worthy.
Yeah.
Hey, Dilla10, you want to talk about things fitting? I know that's your favorite topic to bring up on this kind of thing.
These dragons are relatively human-sized, more or less, so I will let it slide.
Okay. So yeah, he's a charming, handsome fella. I like him.
I
tend to enjoy characters that are very forward like that. There's another dating sim I played called Blackgate, where one of the characters is a bartender who is extremely horny and very forward. The reason being he's like depressed, and so alcohol and sex kind of just help him not think about stuff. But the tragic backstory stuff, who cares? The point being is I like characters who are very forward because in person I'm very reserved, and so I need the other person to initiate, and so I just really love that. I don't go for the tsundere characters because that requires me initiating, and it's like, I'd rather they just pin me against the wall. Thank you.
my only complaint about Bryce is entirely superficial. The way his snout is drawn makes it look like his nostrils stick out further than his muzzle, which is kind of weird.
God, how do you hyperfixate on these weird things I never noticed?
I don't know, but it's the same theory as like if someone has something wrong with their face, even if you can't quite figure out what it is, there's something wrong when you look at them. Whenever I see Bryce, I'm like, I can't help but see that little cleft in his snout, and it's so annoying to me. It's like every other dragon in this game has a perfectly rounded normal snout, but Bryce's is like slightly cleft. But like you see it, right?
No, I
All
don't
right.
have a screenshot right now.
So if you go to
Doesn't matter.
It
The
does.
Lieutenant, what do you think about Bryce? Mr. One Playthrough?
He was a good-looking dragon. That's all I can really say.
I see the clef you're talking about.
but
I
like
thought that was like something for his like nose horn, though.
I don't know, but like if you look at the other three characters in that same fucking splash, they all have rounded snouts. Except Bryce, and I see that and I'm like, ugh.
Remy's kind of got it too, but it's not nearly as pronounced as Bryce's is.
Yeah. Again, superficial. It's not really a big deal.
Adine, Bantam's favorite. Her endings, shit, I can't remember. Can't remember everyone's bad ending. Like, her good ending is, again, you just have to leave her behind after you fix everything, because her ending involves the generators getting blown up as well. So you have to go back to fix things. Can't remember her bad ending. Do you remember her bad ending, Bird?
Whose?
Adine.
Adine? Her bad ending was, I mean, she gets shot, but she survives. She didn't do her flight, which technically saves her life, but which I guess you could say that's her super evil ending. I don't know, but she doesn't do her flight. She doesn't think she'll do it next year because it's something that like she can practice more or whatever. But her bad ending, it wasn't that bad, and I remember because I was like, oh, this is relatively normal. Like, you know, she is like sad to see you go because you go back to the human world, whatever. And then it told me I got her bad ending, and I was like, that was a bad ending. And that was my very first ending. So I was like, oh, her good ending must be super good, you know. But her bad ending was kind of just meh.
But yeah, she's kind of a ditz in the game, right?
Well, she really wants to be she wants to do the flying stuff, stunt flying. And she is basically a Grubhub delivery service on the side.
Yeah.
And she also runs a daycare or works at a daycare.
Volunteers at an orphanage.
At an orphanage, yeah. She's all around good girl.
Yeah, but I mean, like, personality-wise, she's kind of a ditz.
Kind of,
right?
yeah.
Kind of a little, not super bubbly, but kind of along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't really like her until you get to the endings where she starts getting a bit more vulnerable. Particularly, I don't know why the shower scene really made me like her, and not because naked dragon in the shower, but just like the fact that she like needed help with you
Because
to
her
wash
wing
her
was
because
injured,
she's
she
injured.
couldn't reach.
I guess just admitting that vulnerability kind of just made her seem a bit more real. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. Well, she even understood it was kind of a little bit weird. She was like, do you think you could help? And you're like, sure. And she's like, oh, okay, thank you, you know.
And then you have to ruin the mood with banana phone.
Oh, yeah. That was one of the other... I knew I was missing another one. Yeah. She's being vulnerable and sweet, and you grab the tip of her tail because it has like a crescent moon shape and put it up to your ear and go, hello. And she's like, what are you doing? And you're just like, oh, because it looks like a phone. And she's like, what? And you're just like, nothing, never mind. And it's like, what the hell?
No, the character's just as socially awkward as you are, apparently.
Yeah, but I wouldn't like think to grab someone's tail and hold it up to my fucking ear and go, moo.
I'll admit the idea would have entered my head. I don't know if I don't think I would have done it, but it would have entered my head.
It's one of those things where it is something that you would think about but not do in a million years. But this character is like, fuck it.
Remy, his bad ending is you leave him alone in the human wasteland because he follows you through the portal. His good ending is Vara dying in his good ending.
Yeah, the bad ending context is the whole situation has fallen apart, so they just shove you back through the portal, like get out of here. But all the humans invaded the dragon world, and so the humans came through to attack, but they decided to have a diplomatic thing. The humans explained why they came through because they think that you murdered blah blah blah, and then the dragons give their side, and the humans go, oh shit, maybe we fucked up, and so they have to go back and get you, and they send Remy to go get you.
And then his good ending is Vara dies, and it's just another one of those you leave him behind to try to get it to be better kind of deal. I think that's just the running theme for all the good endings is you consciously leave them behind.
Yeah.
But yeah, Remy's a little precious boy. He's got to be protected. He's being bullied by the Minister of Culture.
Yeah, super bullied, which fucking sucks.
Yeah, so he's basically an abuse victim who's still recovering from a loss of a loved one. Doesn't even know that he technically has a kid until the very end, and just for the whole time he's like really just alone and kind of depressed. And I'm surprised he didn't call him a kicked puppy syndrome.
I mean, the fact that he has speaking lines and there are moments where he can be happy and vulnerable and happy to be around you. The difference being is that Vara, you don't ever get a chance to stop any of the terrible things that happen to her. It's just she is a tragic fucking story that you have to be subjected to. So, do you want to go through the true ending then? We've done all the or no, Lorem.
Gotta do Lorem.
Lorem. So his bad ending is so his is a little weird because his bad ending is literally just a choice at the end of the game. To get his good ending, you need to have fully assembled the Ixiom sphere, and everything,
because you just roll it at Reza.
yeah, everything plays
end.
out exactly the same for his good and bad ending, except for the very end when you get the choice to. So at the end of every playthrough, there's the fireworks festival, and it's a huge event, and you get a chance to invite one of the dragons based on your interactions with them. If you've done well enough, you can invite one of them. For Lorem's, you get a second option. Take the Ixiom sphere with you because it belongs to his roommate, and you think, hey, I'll just give it to him and then he can bring it home to his roommate, or leave it behind. If you take it with you, you get the good ending. If you don't, you get the bad ending. Taking it with you, Lorem programs the Ixiom sphere to just explode, and so when you're confronting Reza, you just chuck the sphere at him and it explodes and doesn't like kill him, I don't think. It just disorients him so that you can get away. Lorem gets shot in either one of them, but he doesn't die in either one of them, I don't think. But one of the other dialogue choices that made me really, because from what I understand from what Ray told me and from reading stuff, a lot of people are really undecided about Lorem, because he is a fifth character that was just kind of jammed in there. I mean, I'm looking at the Steam page right now. He's not even on the splash art.
Nope, the game originally just had 4 characters, 2 male, 2 female. And then I think it was like a Kickstarter stretch goal, or just something happened that they decided to add a 5th character who is Lorem.
Yeah, and his roommate Ipsum, so Lorem Ipsum, the
Yep.
placeholder text for doesn't mean anything.
Yep, that's also why his story doesn't feel as fleshed out as the other ones.
Yeah.
And his endings are kind of lackluster.
When he finally decides to be vulnerable and tell you his big secret. So first of all, Lorem wants to be a video game developer. He, invites you over to draw pictures of you for his game, talk about his game and stuff. But when you finally get him to open up about himself, you find out that he was bullied most of his life because he's a hermaphrodite. So he has, both parts. And it's really fucking sad, and I don't know any monster that would click this option, but when he finally tells you I'm a hermaphrodite, one of the options is get out, because he's in your house, and you could just tell him to get out, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's a completely
like
even
if you're grossed out by the thought, that's horrible.
Yeah,
it's just awful. So
if you picked that option without it just being for sheer curiosity to see what happens,
like if you saved
then
it
shame
and
on
then
you.
picked it and then reloaded, sure, but
then we can forgive you. But if you picked that because that's actually what you would say, then fuck you.
yeah, absolutely fuck you.
That is, even if it makes you uncomfortable, that is extremely callous, and just you need to be more respectful than that.
Considering neither one of them show, it's like, whatever. But Lorem's death, is basically off screen. While you're doing other things with other dragons, eventually Ipsum will file a police report for Ipsum will file a police report for Lorem being missing, and that's it. That's all you find out about it. And then when you actually do Lorem's ending, you find out that he went on a treasure hunt to get free pizzas through an old coupon in a book, and it leads him to a sunken building that is half flooded because the contest apparently ended a long time ago and some earthquakes destroyed a building. The building's abandoned, but it's half flooded, and Lorem dives into the water looking for this treasure, and a shelf falls on him and traps him underwater. He drowns to death off screen, and the only way you can save him is by being there with him, which is fucking horrible. That broke my heart in a weird way.
Yeah. When it finally clicked, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, that made me super fucking sad. But yeah, his evil, his good, I don't know why I keep saying evil. His good and bad ending is literally just whether or not you fully assembled the Ixiom sphere, and whether or not you throw it at Reza.
Yeah. Fun fact about Lorem, after he comes out to you by being a hermaphrodite, the game changes his pronouns when it refers to him.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, it changes to they.
Oh, I didn't even notice. And so now for the true ending, I mean, we've already kind of touched on little points of it through as you, the player, are playing through this game and you're starting to realize certain things. I mean, there is a path for you to take where you speak with a certain person on a certain time to make sure that you're intercepting, like, for example, telling Anna that she shouldn't work so late so she won't be there when Reza shows up to murder her. Instead, he kills Damien, which I don't think that's better. I like Damien. Poor guy. The maintenance worker dies no matter what. The green wyvern in the beginning of the game, the very first murder subject, is not actually killed by Reza. It's killed by the administrator. And the administrator murders that dragon specifically to get you to investigate so that you start looking at Reza, which makes no fucking sense. Because Reza only has confirmed killed the maintenance worker, which is the second murder, and then either Anna or Damien, which is the third murder. So basically, you need to pick certain dialogue options throughout the game to make sure that this character is not in this place at this time or whatever. And at the end of the game, if you've done it correctly, when it asks who you want to take with you to the fireworks, you get the option for everyone. And while you're there, you get the option of, or no, once you get that option, everybody comes to your house. And you have a very difficult conversation with all of them. Everything, all the dirty laundry comes out. You find out about Anna experimenting on the egg, which was actually Remy's, and I can't remember her name.
I don't either.
But Remy's basically ex, or the woman that he loved that gave him his red tie. She died, and he was miserable, and so that's his kid, mixed with Anna's DNA. Apparently, Adine and Remy were really good friends up until this point because they were both, really close with that dragon. Bryce, basically, I don't think there's any really big issues with Bryce.
Not
really. But basically, the other three, Remy, Adine, and Anna, they have this whole drama going on. But at that point, you're like, all right, enough. Lorem's there too, just kind of in the background.
Yeah. Bryce's tie to the situation is because he was friends with Anna before, because she would do forensics for them.
Yeah.
And then there was some issue with something, and then she said some stuff under oath, and he's like, "Wait, does that mean you lied under oath?" And then he kind of makes a deal with her that if she helps them now, and admits to everything right now, that he'll try to get her pardoned.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lorem's just there in the background.
Lorem's in the background.
Just there.
Lorem's
he's a +1. Like I said, he was an added-in character after the fact.
Yeah, Lorem's purpose in that whole scene is to tell everyone, "Hey, stop it! This isn't important right now." But yeah, everybody gets a pair of handcuffs. Anna has her taser, and you have
we've been over this.
By now, you, the player, have been through enough endings to know exactly where Reza will be and what he will be doing, and so you all ambush him. And I think at one point, Adine grabs him in her talons, flies out into a field and drops him. And then once he pulls out his gun, someone charges him from behind. Basically, every single dragon gets a hit on Reza. And then Maverick gets him last. And you basically are like, "No, don't kill him." And he's like, "I won't, even though I want to." And then you cuff him. And Reza calls you a traitor to humankind. And then they haul him off to jail, Dragon Jail.
But yeah, overall, it's a good game.
It is probably my favorite dragon-related video game I've ever played.
The story gets a little hard to follow because time travel is just messy that way, but it's not that bad, I guess. Dilettante, do you have any thoughts with your single playthrough you want to chime in?
It was a game. I can confirm by playing through it, it was a game. But I'm sorry, but I will not subject myself to those depressing...
I don't know, I guess I'm punishing you when you don't participate. Okay, the only thing I really want to say about the mods is there's a couple mods that you really should get because they add a lot to the game and they feel like they're part of the game, which is why I kept confusing the scenes with actual game scenes. Not So Tragic Hero is the post-ending stuff for Anna, where you cure her cancer and or can do her court case or whatever. Just some extra stuff with her. Savior is some extra stuff with Bryce that involves a police investigation because you're kind of figuring out what the heck was Anna doing and all that, whatever. And A Solitary Mind adds another whole new character Naomi, who's on the police force. They make her aquatic dragon, which is why I got confused if there was aquatic dragons or not. And I just want to shout out to Solitary Mind because they make her absolutely like adorable and precious or whatever. She thinks you're the cutest thing ever, and so constantly like grabs you and like folds you in her wings because she just wants to protect you and cuddle and all that. And it's like, I like that.
So, are you getting these mods? Like, where are you getting these mods? Because I looked at the Steam Workshop, and there's like 5 mods, and none of them are what you're talking about. Because looking at the Steam page, because I saw that this game had workshop content, and I was like, "Ooh, workshop content."
No, Solitary Mind is on Steam.
Oh, okay. It's just there's 36 mods total. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
I see it. There it is. Never mind.
Yeah. So
I might mod the shit out of it and then play through again.
Yeah. So Not So Tragic Hero, Savior, and a Solitary Mind are all made by the same person. So there's a core mod that you need to get to go with them.
Yeah,
I don't remember what it's called. Okay, so just make sure you get that too. Other than that, there's a couple of really, really, really tiny mods, like this one that just adds Remy's diary, so you can get more backstory off of him, which is kind of unnecessary.
Okay, so if this guy was someone who won like a Kickstarter bid to have his character in the game, the Kevin, because we didn't even talk about Kevin, but Kevin is whatever. He gives you a hug, and I thought that was sweet. But Kevin is probably one of the cutest dragons because he's literally just big. He looks like a circle with horns.
Basically.
But there's a mod called Bye Kevin. This mod is for people who did not like the conversation with Kevin.
Well, he comes off a little pretentious, I'll admit that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, Vara survives mod.
But yeah, then there's the post-true mod, which just adds a 8-minute scene to the end of the endings, to just have some more closure with them. It's nice, but it's unnecessary. There's a couple mods with Adine where you can go on a date with her on the beach, and another one where you can go shopping with her. They're really fun, so they're kind of harmless. And then a couple Aftermath mods, which I didn't play the Aftermath mod, but I've heard good things about it, so that's one to consider too.
Yeah, I'll probably get your mod list and I'll throw those in there.
Yeah,
it'll be worth it for another playthrough because now that I've emotionally recovered from this game, because playing through it was a fever. I think I played all 12.3 hours in one sitting.
Yep, you kind of did.
I started it and I was like, all right, well that was a weird ending, and then the second one I was like, that was slightly better, and then when I got my third ending, which was the betrayal ending, which I guess is like the nearly worst ending.
Yeah, let me know what you think about Naomi when you do her mod, because I actually really liked her.
Okay.
And I wish she was part of the actual
Naomi
game.
is the receptionist for the police station, right?
Don't know if she's the receptionist. She does a data analyst. She may also function as a receptionist because there's only like so many characters in the game.
I'm pretty sure she's the one who's like, oh, hey, how are you doing when you show up at the police station and no one's there?
Oh, she might be. She has like 1 or 2 throwaway lines in the base game.
Okay, then
that people just latched onto and just any final thoughts before we go on to social media?
No, I definitely think that first of all, the fact that he announced the second game coming, already excited for it.
If you're listening to this, Mr. Developer, give us some review copies.
You don't have to, but yeah,
we get to play it 2 weeks before anybody else.
I mean, we could do like, and I'll ask him if I can like buy some advanced copies. Or
we will try to do our review on it like as the game drops. If we get it early and we release the episode the exact time the game drops, that'd be kind of fun.
We'll split it in half. We'll do the pre-spoiler, and then when the
post spoiler that
like
released like
after
2 weeks
the game's
later
out or something.
Yeah, it'd be fun. It would be a milestone for us to cross. Getting review copies is why I bring it up. It's just like, hey, that'd be kind of cool. But no, either way, we'll purchase the game and we'll just try and do it as it releases.
The only problem with that, we've already saw how hard it was to not spoil the first game in our pre-spoil section. Are you really going to be able to make a whole episode out of not spoiling it?
It depends on how he does the second game. The problem was because this was very tied into time loops. A lot of it felt really spoilery. Also because the game completely shifts dynamics like 10 minutes
The alternative is that we record the episode as we normally do, and then we release it, depending on timing, like a week after the game's out. Or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm very excited for the sequel.
I'm apprehensively excited.
Well, I'm excited because I hope I'm correct on this, but I believe that humanity's numbers are severely dwindled on their side of the portal, whereas it's described as millions upon millions of dragons coming through the gate into our world, into
Yeah. So the point is, I love the first game because it was all dragons, right? You were literally the only human.
Yeah.
In the world. But now that this is taking place, where after the two species have kind of intermingled, it's gonna kind of depend on how much of the game is dragon, how much of the game is human. Like when I first saw the teaser trailer, I had the thought of like, but are there any dragons? If this is like just all human political bullshit, I'm not gonna give a shit about this.
Oh, no. I mean, there was that April Fool's joke, which I totally did not see as being April Fool's, and I was outraged. And I posted it to Ray, and I was like, look what they did to Bryce! And then I checked the comments, and someone's like, oh, your April Fool's jokes get better every year. And I scrolled up, and I saw the date, and I was like,
But the point is I will admit that I'm shallow enough that my enjoyment of the sequels can be completely related to how much of the content is dragon related.
yeah.
And so since we don't really have any information, we don't have any like photos of like these are going to be the dateable characters this time around or whatever. I'm hopeful but apprehensive. I'm kind of nervous about it.
Yeah. Like the I guess we could agree that the worst thing possible would be the main character is a dragon and all the datables are humans. Or
Oh my god, that would be, I'd give it a try, but I'd probably hate it. But I'd give it a try because at least I'm a dragon.
They will probably have some human options, which is fair.
The actual worst case scenario is you're playing as a human. There's like a total of 6 datables, and only 1 or 2 of them are dragons. The other 4 are humans.
Yeah.
That's the actual worst case scenario.
In that case, I'll still play it, but I'll be more than happy to get those people killed.
Yeah.
They walk through the portal through some technical mumbo jumbo. All the dragons turn into humans.
That was the April Fool's joke.
Yeah, that was the April Fool's joke that he really on their Tumblr. They posted a screenshot of 2 humans. One of them was like, "This is a new character that's going to be like the quirky sidekick," and I don't know who that was referencing. But then there was this fat, balding, bearded man, and they're like, "And this is what Bryce looks like as a human because something went crazy when they went through the portal and they all became human." And I lost my fucking shit for like a solid 5 minutes, and I posted a screenshot to Ray and Dilettante, and I was like, "Look what they did!" And then I found out it was an April Fool's joke, and then I was like, okay, calm down. Like, I just met these characters and fell in love with them, and I already was like in full attack mode.
All right. So Bantam, where can they find us if they want to send us angry messages because we didn't agree with their opinions on Best Boy or Girl?
So you can send us death threats on official WADPod on Twitter. You can send us hate mail at wadpodcastmail@gmail.com. And you can give us hate money at Patreon, patreon.com/World of Dragons podcast.
$50 and we will read on air your written script of "We were wrong. Best character is actually this character, and here are the reasons why."
Yep. $100 and I'll change my opinion.
That's your price.
That's my price. You want me to destroy my integrity? $100.
That's pretty affordable. Actually.
I was wrong, and here is why. I will give for $100. I will give a convincing argument as to why.
So I guess for $50 we read your script, and for $100 we pretend it's our own script. We don't mention that you paid us to do it at all.
A correction. Actually, the ice cream vendor is the sexiest, most dateable best boy there is. And
because older gentleman dad types are my fetish completely.
Now you know what? The orange dragon at the park. He's the best.
He's an actual person. He was a Kickstarter.
The actual best minor character is, I could swear to God, it was a falcon, and it was in one of the comic panels, and you just got one shot.
Yeah.
of it.
So in the comic, I don't remember what page it was, but they're in the science lab, and there is a black and dark blue dragon in the background, like walking through the lab with a clipboard. I think he's holding the clipboard with his tail. Here it is. Okay, so he's a gray dragon with black, red, and white stripes, a black mane. He has glasses on, and he's holding a clipboard in his tail while also holding a sheet of paper in his hand. And it's literally just like he's in the background, and it's like it's so clear that's someone's OC, but he is so fucking handsome.
Yeah.
I'll send it to Dilettante.
So thank you for joining us. Next episode, we are going to be doing Dragon Goes House Hunting by Dilettante's request.
Yeah.
He can't handle all these big boy topics, so we're doing an anime now.
Well, to be fair, Ray has elected to read the manga because I've been buying them. So I have the first 6 or 7.
6.
I have the
6.
first 6 manga of Dragon Ghost House Hunting, which I think is current. I don't know why I keep buying manga. I don't read them ever. I just have...
It's nice to collect the
It
books.
is
Like
nice.
I've read, for example, I've read Wings of Fire so many times, but I've done it either through the audiobook or through the ebook.
Mm-hmm.
I still bought all the physical books just to have them. I've never opened them because I have no reason
Yeah.
to, but I still have them on my shelf because I can look at them because I like having physical copies.
Like I have the first 16 issues of Monster Musume, but I think I've only read the first 3, and then the anime came out, and I was like, wow, this only covered like a couple of the books, and then I just kept buying them and not reading them.
So point is, Dilettant and I can lock horns over anime versus manga.
Well, the manga's definitely going to be better.
Yeah, it's longer.
It's longer, and all right.
Cool. So I'll get to win the horn.
Yeah. Also, if you are going to be watching the anime ahead of the next episode, definitely send us. I'll put a poll up on the Twitter as to whether or not you prefer sub or dub, and not in general. Not like, are you someone who always dub? I want you to.
We're not asking if you're a purist. We're just specifically in this case,
for
like
this anime, because, in my opinion, what's his name? Lemmy?
I don't know.
What's the dragon's name, Diletant?
Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. It starts with an L.
It does begin with an L.
I'm so bad with names
Point
that I will
being
never
is
know.
his voice is so ungodly fucking annoying in English. The voice actor they got for him is the worst. It's the worst. I can't listen to him for extended periods of time. He's such a fucking whiner. And it's like, I understand that he's supposed to be young and inexperienced, but oh my god, he does not need to sound like a prepubescent child.
He just sounds like Dilettant.
No,
It's
he
fine.
doesn't. No.
No, what the fuck?
The whole fucking time.
Although, I will say, Daria's English voice actor makes up for it. He sounds amazing.
Every other character, from what I remember, was amazing in that. But oh my god, I could not stand whatever the fuck that.
Okay. Put a cap on that little bottled rage. Save it for the next episode. After that, because I announced them 2 episodes in advance, so it gives you enough time to read ahead of time, since I don't know how fast everybody reads. But after Dragon Ghost House Hunting, we're going to be reading the book Mating Flight by Bard Bloom. Alright, so that is all for today. Long episode. Thank you for suffering through it with us. We'll see you guys next time.
And do you want to know something scary, listeners? Oh, I had so much more to say.
Maybe if we need extra time to read this book, since this is the first time we're going to be doing a physical book rather than an audiobook, because there's no audible version.
Episode.
You'll do a solo episode where you just continue just going into this game.
Well, it's all going to be good. It's like it's just, there's so much about, because I guess I just want to talk about the game as if people are just I'm not going to play it. I just like listening to podcasts. And it's like, oh my god, it's like I almost want to just narrate the whole fucking game.
Well, that's fine. We'll keep that under consideration. But we're coming up on 2.5 hours now, and I've got to edit this fucking monstrosity. So we'll see you guys next time.
All right, bye everyone.
Goodbye.